So it's really interesting, I think, to look at the connection between hypothesis tests and confidence intervals, because you will notice that as long as you use the same level of confidence, and I guess I should specify here when you're doing the two-tailed test, if it's, sorry, when you're doing the hypothesis test, it should be a two-tailed test. But you'll come to the same conclusion sort of either way, whether you do a confidence interval or whether you do a hypothesis test. So if you find that you reject the null hypothesis, then you'll say, you know, oh, that mu naught definitely can't be it. Then your confidence interval won't contain the mu naught. And that sort of makes sense. Right? Whereas if you end up retaining the null hypothesis, if you don't have enough evidence to reject it, and we're just going to sort of retain the null hypothesis or not reject it, that means that mu naught sort of is a plausible value for the mean, and so the confidence interval will contain that population mu. So you should come to the sort of the same conclusions either way, whether you choose to do it the hypothesis testing way or whether you choose to do it the confidence interval way. And that might bring up another question of, you know, well, why do we have these two different approaches? So hypothesis testing is really good when you sort of have this cutoff value where, you know, maybe below that particular value, you might do one thing or implement a certain policy. And then if it's above a certain value, you're going to implement a different policy. So it's really good if you sort of want to just check for sort of a cutoff region. It also is really good if you want to get at this idea of, you know, there is statistically significant evidence of this. That can be really useful. Confidence intervals are good because they give you a range of plausible values or a magnitude, right? So if you were interested in sort of, you know, let's go back to the dolphin example, but if you were interested in, you know, the mercury levels in the dolphins and you want a range of the particular values, maybe a confidence interval approach is better. But if you were really interested in sort of just the cutoff, you know, this 3.5, that's the value where above or below it, we're going to make different policy decisions, then maybe a confidence interval approach is better. And again, sometimes researchers will do both because they both provide value in different ways.